we've just entered into the most potent ascension portal of the century. It's amazing, it's incredible, but it's also very, very intense. And so today I'm going to speak exactly about what it means for us, what it means for lightworkers, starseeds, what it means for all the ones who came into this planet exactly to help this planet ascend at this point in time to bring forth this new earth. I'm going to share with you the symptoms you will be experiencing, that the things that are happening at a deep level, and what this means for our day-to-day lives, and also a portion of a channeled message directly from our galactic Pleiadian family, and then the energy updates for the 3 waves of volunteers. So welcome. It is so great to be here with you, Cosmic Family. Something so incredible is happening. This portal is going to be open for the next year until about February 2026. And it's going to be intense. We're going to have some times, especially a little bit in the summer, a bit of sort of pulling back of this energy, kind of getting a break. But right now, the energy is on. It's powerful and is being even more magnified by Aries energy. And I feel it. I'm an Aries baby. But it's something that a lot of you are going to feel as well. Because what's happening right now, this is the rise of the spiritual warrior. You know, when you hear of the 144,000, the vibration of the 144,000, that's the spiritual warrior. And there's some essential aspects to the spiritual warrior that we are beginning to experience now internally in a very deep way at a molecular level as we're stepping through this ascension portal. And it's very, very important. We need to, because the more that we're getting closer to bringing forward this new earth, and it's in its most potent, strongest, most powerful form, the more the matrix and the cabal is exerting its force to keep us from experiencing this. And it's almost like there's a dance right now, but the spiritual warrior is coming in, and the spiritual warrior is a master of energy. The spiritual warrior is not about warring. It's not about fighting. This is an important distinction. The spiritual warrior holds the ground. It also accepts no BS. So some of you guys are going to start noticing this, where you're going to feel this within yourself, where you're like, no more BS. But you might start even feeling this from those around you, and it's a bit of a wake-up call. And this is something incredible that's going to happen. So the spiritual warrior, there are 3 elements that the Pleiadians shared with me that are important they said to highlight about the spiritual warrior, that so many of you will start to feel and experience if you are willing to walk through this portal and experience this transformation. And they said this transformation is basically like being Clark Kent, walking through this portal, and then becoming Superman, because your internal superpowers are being turned on. Your intuitive and psychic superpowers are being turned on. Okay, so let's talk about the spiritual warrior. The 3 important things that they said is the spiritual warrior holds the ground, is not easily manipulated, and faces things head on. And they said this is really, really important right now, this kind of energy, because there's no more hiding in the background. They said now's the time. You guys came into this planet exactly for this reason. Now's the time to embrace it. Now's the time to turn on your superpowers, because the energy is magnifying so much that it's helping so many others wake up. And when others are waking up, they're wanting this they want to feel this connection as well, and they want to also they said remembering is such a huge part of this process. So they said in a way that you're all not just waking up your own powers, but you're helping one another. And they said this is so key. This community is so key in this process, because you're not alone, even though it may feel like that so much of the time. So one of the amazing things that they said is that there's a communication breakdown that's happening right now. And this might seem like something negative on the surface, but they said it's actually quite marvelous, because the communication breakdown is happening at the matrix level, because there is so much, the matrix is sort of pushed all this polarization, all this stuff on us, but it's now having a negative effect on itself. It's breaking it down, because so many people are just checking out, so to speak. They're like noticing what's happening here. And because there is a communication breakdown at this physical material level, they said what's happening is at a deeper level, and for light workers and starseeds, what's arising now, what's being integrated, what's being turned on is telepathy. And they said it's not just telepathy between humans. It's not just connecting to the Akashic records. They said it's telepathy at a very beautiful earth level. And they said this is going to be essential to bringing forth a new earth, which is telepathy with plants, with animals, and with animals on earth, in the water. And then they said, of course, with the galactic family, because that's also key to bringing about new earth as well. And they said, this is the beauty of it, because they said, we're so excited to communicate with you. And we cannot communicate with you at a material level. We don't send text messages. They said, we send energy. We speak to you psychically. We speak to you intuitively. And they said, this is the beauty of the spiritual warrior arising, because the spiritual warrior is not as caught up in the material. The spiritual warrior is not as caught up in, the games that so many humans play when it comes to communication. They said the spiritual warrior cuts right through that. So this is really incredible. Now, I want to just focus for a second on this aspect right now that they said the rise of the spiritual warrior is also going to expose a lot of friends and enemies. So they said, look out for that, especially in the next 2 months. And then towards the end of the year, they said, you're going to notice the true friends and enemies. And they said this is going to happen at a lot of different levels, not just at a personal level and a one-to-one level. They said we're going to see it in governments, we're going to see it in many different systems. And they said because, of course, the Cabal, the Matrix is working so hard, they're also working really hard to convert people sort of into the dark side, so to speak. But basically, they're noticing that so many people are waking up and that they're working really hard to go to light workers and say, hey, basically wanting to turn them. So they said, beware of this, be connected to this, and notice how this is going to play out in day-to-day life, even in your personal life. So very important energy that we do need to become aware of is chaos. Now, this chaotic energy is going to amplify, which is why being grounded as spiritual warriors is so key, which is why this integration and this of turning on of the spiritual warrior is so key right now, because this chaotic energy is going to magnify. And one of the things they shared is that it's going to magnify on planet Earth, as we saw with the earthquakes, and they said there's more coming. Because right now solar activity is also very intense. But one of the things that they said, this was very interesting, they said, we're going to discover more about hidden civilizations underground. Interrupting this message to let you guys know that I have a Telegram group. It's free, and I do energy updates there. I also have lots of free tools below, so check out the links, and a really amazing course coming up about heightening your intuitive and psychic abilities. So now I want to come back to this transformation that's happening at a very deep level. So much of it is about us being aware that we're not just physical beings, that we are energy beings. And when we become aware of that, there is a magnification. But it's not just awareness. It's these energies being integrated into our physical bodies, but also our energy bodies. And so when we realize that we're more than just physical bodies, our energy bodies start to expand. And this is also what contributes to this magnification of our telepathic abilities. Now, when people hear this, they think, oh, it sounds so woo-woo, but it's very basic. It's simply picking up on the smallest cues, when you're communicating with others, when you're looking at the environment around you, when you're even looking at your plants. This was a big transformation for me, because I always thought, oh, I kill plants, I can't connect with plants. And this is something that the Pleiadian 7 introduced me to, which was, you can telepathically connect with plants and they'll very much let you know what you need. And so this is what's beginning to happen on this planet right now. And you guys, the starseeds and the light workers, you're at the forefront of it. This is why you're coming to term with what's happening, embracing it and walking through this portal, embracing the transformation is so key. It's because you will be helping others start to realize, oh, wow, this is a real thing. This is something that we already do, that, mothers do with babies and babies do with mothers. Children are also already very good at picking things up. We don't notice it because it's hard for us to always communicate with children, right? Especially when they're still toddlers and they don't have a full vocabulary. But this is happening in nature. Animals do this. Animals are constantly communicating telepathically with each other and with us. And of course, the galactic family is always communicating with us. Now, guys, I do want to focus a little bit on the symptoms of what's happening, because the symptoms are going to be intense, because this energy does bring up a lot of chaos. So you might feel a lot of exhaustion. You might feel a lot of headaches, maybe even digestive issues. And one of the things, as we are becoming more somatically aware, as we're becoming more aware as humans that our body does store trauma and pain, but it also stores incredible abilities, that there's going to be a release during this process. And this release is going to be experienced differently. Sometimes this release is going to be experienced like actual physical relief, where you're just going to be like, oh my goodness, I just need to sit back, relax, have a glass of water. Which, speaking of water, please hydrate. It's so important to hydrate during this process to help flush out toxins. But at the same time, you might experience this energy, and I will go into this when I do the energy updates for the 3 waves, but it's you might also experience it as a rush of energy, where you just feel like this rush of energy and you want to move. But at the same time, you feel like, where do I move this energy into? Like, what do I do with this? And so having some good daily practices of movement is also very important to move this energy. But also, this is an incredible time to start new projects. And if you're an Aries like me, you love to start a lot of projects and not finish them. But as I mentioned, this is a whole year portal. So there are going to be moments throughout the year where we're going to be invited to close and to complete these projects, but right now is a time to start fresh new projects. So that's one way to direct this energy. But also, the other way to direct this energy, like I mentioned, is to move, to dance, to play. That is so key, because as the chaos magnifies, as our spiritual warrior becomes stronger, having that sense of play will help us stay connected. Help us stay connected to not just ourselves and to our physical environment, but also to our galactic family. And this is one thing that the Pleiadians always share about, that they say that in the non-physical form that they're in, there is always a sense of pureness of being, which involves play and joy and fun. So let's remember that as we move through this incredible portal of ascension. So now, guys, I'm really excited to share with you energy updates, some really, really juicy energy updates for the 3 waves of volunteers. First, wavers, as the anchors of light, you guys have been working hard for a very long time. So it's all right to sit back, relax, and let the earth carry you. And a very interesting thing that came forth is that there's a lot of creative energy awaiting you. And so many of you are already tapping into that creative energy and bringing it forth. But at the same time, they said one of the things that holds back that creative energy for so many of you is these martyrdom contracts. And so releasing them, letting them go. It's all right. It's sort of realizing what has been. And it's important to let go of anything that's sort of weighing you down and making you feel that, oh no, this happened to me. This sort of, victim. And this would apply to the second wavers as well, but this sort of victim kind of, martyrdom, woo me, and realizing that, yes, you have been through a lot. And oftentimes you're not even going to be necessarily recognized by those around you for everything that you've done and everything that you've been through. But that's all right, because you are being recognized by the source energy, by our galactic family, and by other light workers and starseeds who are benefiting from the work that you've been putting on, or you've been putting in this process of ascension. Second wavers, you guys, of course, including me, the second wavers, these are Gen X's, some younger Gen X's and millennials. For you guys, of course, it's about finding your voice again. And this is really important when we're speaking about telepathically. And, creativity and creation comes on a lot, especially for this month, because it is springtime. It's new things, planting seeds, and also new things sprouting. So this creative energy applies to the second waivers as well. And they said for so many of you guys, it's about finding your voice and being creative without judging the process or having some kind of agenda in mind where this creativity is going to go or what it's going to be like. And they said that's very freeing. And so many of you need that because they said as second waivers, you guys, and as bridge builders between the awakened and those awakening, sometimes you feel like, oh, I got to know everything and everything's got to be perfect and everything's got to be sorted out. They said it doesn't have to. It doesn't have to be perfect. Go for it. Find your voice. Express your voice. However it comes through, be creative. Because they said in that, you're going to start to tap into a lot of this spiritual warrior energy and also that creative, playful energy. Now, for the first waivers, Gen Zers and younger, they said that for you guys, you really feel this energy, this restlessness. There's some chaos there. You guys are the boldest frequency. And so sometimes it feels like your soul, your spirit is moving at 1,000,000 miles a minute. But they said, but the material, physical Earth planet is moving slower. And so that can be frustrating. So they said, it's okay to be creative and to play with these energies, but it's also all right to breathe, stay connected, and again, this creative, playful energy to help you find this deep inner connection. So that way the actions that you're taking are not just all over the place. They're really inspired by this deeper transformation and your deeper soul mission. Right now, I want to share with you guys a directly channeled message directly from our Galactic Pleiadian family. Now, a lot of these messages, they come in as energy, so it's not even so much about the words that you're hearing, so much of it is about allowing the energy they bring forth to be integrated into your own energy body. Humans, everything that you have ever wanted, everything that you have ever desired, it's already alive within you. You've already come into this planet with everything that you need. But so much of this matrix has convinced you that you need more, that you need something else, that something else outside of you is going to complete you. But you already have it. It is already primed within you. It has already been programmed into your galactic DNA. So much of what is happening on this planet right now, it is a turning on. It is a turning on of the light worker, of the star seed. It is a turning on of the DNA of the human in order for the human to be able to ascend to a higher frequency of existence. But this higher frequency of existence is not something out there. It is not something of the future. It is already here. It is already being experienced by so many of you. It is already being experienced in different timelines. Oftentimes, that process of experiencing this greater awareness, this greater shift in consciousness, all that it requires is a simple switch being turned on. And that's exactly what's happening right now. But now humans, what they do is that the switch gets turned on, then they go, wait a minute, I'm not used to this much light. Let's turn it down. Let's turn it off. And in that process, though, they realize that they have access to this switch. But so many humans forget that they can turn the switch back on and allow this light to pour in. They become so used to being in this space of darkness, of experiencing things at a lower vibration, that becomes what they are used to. And so when the light turns on and Source, God says, hi, hello, remember, you can experience this light anytime you want to. humans go, oh, that's right. And they either turn it on or they say, I'm going to snooze a bit longer. So become aware of the times when maybe you are turning off the light, your own light, or you are snoozing, and you are now giving yourself the opportunity to experience this greater sense of being. And we say greater sense because you will sense this vibration when you experience it. You sense an upliftment, a release. And sometimes this sense is not always positive, because what is happening is you are stepping out of your comfort zone. You are stepping out of what you've known so far. And you might even get the butterflies in the stomach and say, ooh, what's this new feeling? But we want you to tap into the excitement of that transformation, the excitement of that change, the excitement of being in that higher vibration of well-being, of experiencing this release, of letting go of the things that you have been holding on to. But sometimes humans come to us and they say, I want to experience that, but how? I don't know how to. And we understand that frustration because it is like a bit of a prison that you have been into. But you have to remember that you can open up the door to that prison. No one else has the key. Even the Matrix and this cabal of energies working to sort of keep humanity in this lower vibration, even they do not hold the key. You hold the key to opening the door. But you've got to make that choice. You've got to make that decision. And once you do, you become a anchor of and a signal of light that allows the galactic family to say, this one is ready. And then the help is immense. The help is immense. So that's what we want to make you aware of. You are not alone. That this inner transformation and experience that you are having is not happening in a vacuum. You are greatly supported, even in the times when it doesn't feel like it. And so, go ahead and switch on the light. And if the light has been already turned on, relish in it, enjoy it, have fun, discover. Even if sometimes that light might expose things to you that you don't want to see. We want to say that's all right. It does not mean that you are bad. It does not mean that the world that you are part of is doomed. All it means is that there are things that are coming into alignment still. And part of that process is the experience of the imperfection. So go ahead, have fun, experience as much play as you want, because that is the key. That is the key that helps carry you through those difficult moments where you feel that you have to labor so hard. Make the time for it. Because so much of the time will come to us and say, I don't have time for it. I've got so many serious things I've got to do. And we say, that's all right, because when you set up time to play, when you set up time to experience joy, that hard work will get done for you. We understand it might not make sense with the reality that so many humans experience. But when you are able to let go and you are able to release, as that vibration rises, a brand new reality is created. That is the new earth.